The 11th of March is the History and Civics examination paper for students of ICSE Class 10 who are giving their board exams. They have been quite happy with the first three exams, at least the two English papers. Maths has kind of evoked mixed reactions. The History and Civics exam is going to be the biggie. With me is Madam T. Padmavathi, who heads the History Department at the Hyderabad Public School. Let's first start with the weightage to the chapters, because history and civics is one subject where you cannot completely ignore any chapter, because you have the objective type for 30 marks in section A, and then you have the descriptive part in section B, where of course you have a choice. What is the weightage given to different chapters? There are 20 chapters in all, 15 in history and 5 in civics.
Yes.
I'll hold it.
Hello, sir. The weightage is total. The history, there are 20 chapters and 9 modern Indian history, 6 contemporary world history, and civics 5 chapters. Now, first I would like to stress on the weightage given to the contemporary chapter, starting with First World War, rise of dictatorship, Second World War, United Nations, agencies and NAM, where these 6 chapters the students can prepare with confidence for 28 marks. That descriptive for 20 marks and objective for 8 marks. Then coming to civics part, where there are civics 5 chapters, and in that the students can prepare for 10 marks objective and descriptive for 20 marks. Civics weightage is 30 marks. And Indian history weightage, it depends upon the choice whether the child would like to attempt from modern Indian history or from the contemporary world history. Now coming to the first point, that the children have to learn all the 20 chapters. They are not supposed to miss out any chapter, because all the chapters are covered either in the objective form or in the descriptive. Second thing, when they attempt the question number 1, that is civics, that all the civics objective questions, each question carries 1 mark, and the answers to be to the point with appropriate keyword.
So you're saying that they don't need to write a full sentence, just one word will suffice.
For example, I'll tell you that. Name the official process through which the President of India can be removed. If the child writes just impeachment, it's more than enough. Okay. And what is the tenure or the term of Lok Sabha? 5 years enough. Who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha? The Vice President of India? It's enough, sir. And that way, there is scope for the children to score 10 on 10 in civics objective. 100%, many children, they do that, and they do very well in civics objective. And second thing, under question number 1, civics objective, the questions will be given in this order: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. The children are advised, appealed not to deviate from order. A, B, C, D only they should write. They're not supposed to change them into 1, 2, 3, 4, which doesn't give a good impression to the examiner.
And also can confuse the examiner.
Yes, confuse the examiner. That is one. Remember, to the point, and they're not supposed to change. And suppose the child doesn't get C-bit answer, and I appeal to the students that just immediately move to the next question. Do not waste time in attempting what you don't get, you are not sure about. That is second thing. And coming to history objective, which is for 20 marks, wherein there are 10 questions, each question carries 2 marks, and in that 6 questions sure they'll come from modern Indian history, and 4 comes from contemporary world history. And remember that in the history objective questions, the question is asked for 2 marks, where there will be 2 answers in that. For example, who was the first president of INC, and where was the first session of INC held? Who was the first president of INC? The children will write. But where, when, if such type of questions come, the child has to even spend time for reading the other part of the question, because each history objective question is for 2 marks. So they have to check, and all this 10 marks civics objective and history marks 20 marks objective, the children have to complete in 30 minutes. They are not supposed to, and all answers, objective answers, no need to write in elaborate. The child, out of excitement, they want to write the lengthy answers, not at all required. Now coming to the descriptive part, total civics 5 chapters, and from that 5, 3 descriptive questions will be asked. 1 from first chapter, from the legislature, Union Parliament. Second question will come from either second or third chapter. That is President and Vice President. Then the third chapter is Prime Minister and Councillor. From these two chapters, one will come, because these two chapters makes executive. And the third question comes from Judiciary, Supreme Court, and the next chapter, High Court and the subordinate courts. So children have to make a wise choice here, which they are sure about the answer, possible that they have to write in points and all that. So we mostly advise children to do the first three chapters of civics properly, right? And remaining
Not the judiciary.
judiciary for objective.
Oh, that's how you kind of.
Yeah, yeah. Because objective questions also will come from Supreme Court and
How do you kind of prepare? I mean, that's an important point you make. How do you prepare only for the objective type and not for the subjective type in the case of judiciary that you mentioned?
we look at the scope, sir. For example, what are the qualifications required for a person to become the judge of Supreme Court? The qualification term is given in the scope, and we prepare children for 1 or 2 marks, like that age, and he should have served in the High Court for so and so. That small answers will prepare. Tenure of judges of Supreme Court. How can you provide security to the judges of the Supreme Court? What are name 3 subordinate courts that work at the district level? So this objective. For example, take how is President of India elected? Appointed, elected. Second one, who appoints Prime Minister of India? What is the tenure of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha? What is the tenure of Speaker of Lok Sabha? How is the Speaker of Lok Sabha elected? All these will prepare them for 1 mark. So, and all these topics are given in the syllabus.
So, do you think going through the 10-year board papers is a good idea to kind of prepare for the objective type, at least as far as the chapters from the judiciary are
10
concerned?
years papers are not required, sir. Just 2 or 3 years papers, because every year the syllabus is getting revised. Not required, sir. Let them look at 3 years papers. That's it.
So, that is as far as the civics descriptive part is concerned. The history descriptive part.
Total 5 will be asked, sir. And out of 5 they have to write any 3. And in that 5 also 3 questions are from Indian history, 2 from contemporary. Then again here they can look at picture study. Picture study is part of these 5 questions. That again they have to write all the subparts of one question in one place only. That's what again I'm appealing to children. If they are not sure about any answer, they should immediately move to the next part of the answer or question, whatever it may be. That's it.
Okay. So those are as far as the tips are concerned. Now for students, there are 2 categories of students. One, the kind of students who enjoy history and civics and have kind of prepared them very well even before the examinations began on the 27th of February. There is another category of students which was leaving it to the gap between English literature exam and the history civics exam. What would you specifically say to the second category of students? What can they do how can they play a T20 match now?
Now they can focus more on objective marks, 30 marks. They can focus on that, and the children by this time they know which part of the lesson can appear as objective and can ask descriptive. That we can do it.
Okay, so you are saying that they should focus on scoring more in the 30 marks. But how would they navigate the longer part, the descriptive part?
Sir, even the board is not expecting them to write answers, lengthy answers. The board is not encouraging.
That's
sir.
another question which is asked. How long should the answers be? Because many teachers in many schools across the country seem to be suggesting that the longer your answer is, the more marks you will get. That's a wrong notion you are saying.
I deny this, sir. I deny. For example, state any 2 objectives of NAM. State. Only 2 points they have to write. Sometimes state any 2 objectives of NAM can be asked for 4 marks. Then each point carries 2 marks. So to the point only, sir. For example, what are the functions of General Assembly? Right? Ask for 3 marks. Write down 3 functions. That's it. Right? And what are the aims and objectives of UN for 2 marks? Write down 2 points. Because the textbook only has given all the answers in points. Where is the part of where is the point in writing description? And whenever they attempt any descriptive question from, for example, First War of Independence or First World War or Second World War or growth of nationalism, where there is scope for the children to write a subheading with proper explanation. And whenever they are attempting such type of questions, then they have to write subheading, underline the subheading, explanation part should have proper appropriate keywords. And whenever they write keyword, they have to underline it.
Okay. Just to give an example of a keyword, for instance, any of the questions that you just now mentioned, how does a student realize that, okay, this is the most appropriate keyword that I must definitely use in this answer? How do they gauge that?
Sir, For example, define, when I went for correction, define the term Lok Adalat. This was asked for 2 marks. The child is expected to write only people's court. Court of people, wrong. People's court only they have to write. So mostly we train children to write that only, sir.
But the council is so strict that court of people will be not given marks?
Yes, sir. Yes. 2 marks, and that too for 2 words, 2 marks. If the child is smart enough, he will write people's court in. I said true translation. Lok Adalat. Lok people, Adalat court. That's it.
Okay. So he or she does not even have to describe, even for a 2-mark question, not...
I'll give small example. For example, there is Jallianwala Bagh massacre or tragedy. If that incident is asked in the exam, the child has to narrate the incident, where the child can use his language, but the facts and figures should remain correct. The child can write in their own words.
In the case of a Jallianwala Bagh kind of an incident, the keywords would be what? Amritsar, General Dyer.
General Dyer and the 2 important prominent people arrested from that area, Dr. Satyapal and Saifuddin Khichlu, and why General Dyer arrested, what was the announcement made. This went against one of the laws made by the British. So how it led to the, the massacre, huge massacre, and all that they have tried. Date. Of course, council has done away with the dates, but these prominent incidents they have tried.
So, yeah, the prominent dates obviously are important. They obviously add weight and heft to the answer. So, great points said by you. I'm sure the students who are listening in will actually gain a lot from these very, very precise instructions and directions that you have given. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm sure the students will really gain from this. Thank you very much. Thank you.